What's going on, you lot? I hope you're all well. Today we are making some fantastic mince pies. Now last week we did some homemade mincemeat. I'm going to use that this week to make some glorious freshly made mince pies. Now we're making the pastry by hand. If you don't want to do it by hand, you can always use a machine. And if you want to know how to do that, there is a link in the description down below to show you exactly how. So let's get to the table and get on with it. Here we are back at the table and we're going to get straight into it with the pastry for our homemade mince pies. So into a bowl, add 450 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of sugar, and 6 grams of salt. Then get your hands in there and give that all a little mix together. Now we add 200 grams of fridge cold salted butter. You can use unsalted if you like, but I prefer my pastry with a little bit of salted butter. Then we're going to use our hands and bring this whole thing together. So grab big old handfuls of that flour and butter and start rubbing them together using your fingers. Continue to rub the butter and the flour together until the butter and the flour are evenly distributed. We're trying to coat the flour in the fat, which is going to help inhibit the gluten development once we add our egg and our water a little bit later on. This will keep our pastry nice and short, flaky, and have that beautiful sort of melt in the mouth texture. Anyway, once you've rubbed all your butter into the pastry, it should look like this. Really fine breadcrumbs or like ground almonds. When it looks just like this, it's ready to add the remaining ingredients and bring this dough together. Next, separate 2 eggs, keeping the yolks for the pastry, and then add 90 ml of ice cold water to the egg yolks and mix together thoroughly. Add the egg mixture to the bowl and using an implement of your choice, start cutting through the mixture. When you're making pastry by hand like this, cutting through the mixture helps expose the wet parts of the dough to the dry flour. This works so much better than just trying to force the dough together with your hands. So just keep cutting through it until the pastry just starts to come together, making a soft but not sticky dough. Then once you've got it to this stage, you can get your hands involved and finish off this dough by bringing it together. Once you've got your rich shortcrust pastry, cover it and then stick it in the fridge to chill and rest for at least an hour before you use it. After the pastry is rested, take about half of it and using a rolling pin, gently roll it out until it's about 3 millimeters thick. Then, using a round circle cutter, cut out 12 circles from the pastry, remove the excess trim and transfer these circles to a 12-hole muffin tin and carefully press the pastry down into each hole to create 12 individual pastry cases. Now we can spoon our mincemeat into the pastry cases. If you want to go the extra mile, you can always make your own mincemeat. If you're not sure how to do that, I do have a video, luckily enough, that shows you exactly what to do, so you should definitely go and check that out. So pack as much mincemeat as physically possible into your pastry cases and then use the back of a spoon just to smooth the top of the mincemeat down. Once all the cases are filled, roll out the remaining dough and cut out lids for the pies. I'm using a fluted circle cutter and a star cutter for these ones. Some people seem to have problems with star toppings to their mince pies. I mean, I like them, so if it's not for you, feel free to avoid it altogether. Transfer the lids to the muffin tin and gently press them down on top of the mincemeat, being careful not to ruin the shape of your pies. Concentrate on the edges just to try and seal the lid to the case, but it really won't need a heavy hand to hold it in place. Once all the pies have their lids, brush the tops of the pies with a little bit of beaten egg and then dust over a little bit of caster sugar to finish them off. Bake the mince pies at 190 degrees C for 20-25 minutes until the pastry is a rich golden brown. Once cooked, leave the pies to cool in the tin just for a little bit and then transfer them to a wire rack and leave them to cool completely. Personally, I would leave them just long enough that they don't burn my tongue off, because freshly cooked warm mince pies are impossible to resist. I mean, how amazing does this look? So give them a go, because these mince pies are going to kick the crap out of anything you're going to buy in store. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this recipe, let me know by hitting a thumbs up down below. And if you're new here and you like what you see, why not consider subscribing as well? If you like this video, go check out my channel. I've got a ton more just like this one that I know you're going to love. And if you like your recipes all nice and neatly written down, easy to follow, go check out my website. You'll find them all there. Hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. I'd love to see what you guys are getting up to. I will see you in the next one.